We are the Jewish people, the Jewish nation. Our homeland is our Torah, our Holy Bible. The State of Israel has declared their intention to take the Torah scholars, our most valuable national treasure, to take them out of the study halls, to change their mindset from 2,000-year-old traditional Jewish religious mindset to the nationalist Zionist mindset. I want to read you in short a paragraph from one of the founding fathers of Zionism, Vladimir Jabotinsky. He's describing what the goal of Zionism is. Our starting point is to take a typical Yid of today and to imagine his diametrical opposite. The Zionists wanted to change the definition of Jewishness from a religion to land, language, and culture. They needed a land, that's Israel. They needed a language, so they created a new language. Ivrit, Hebrew is called. Traditionally, the Jewish people are a religion. To the Zionists, as Ben-Gurion believed, religion is the national tragedy of the Jewish people. Until now, they didn't have much of an opportunity, or they didn't believe they had much of a necessity to openly assault our religion. To us, to the world, they presented us as museum pieces, like dinosaur bones. Suddenly, we become real and a threat to them, because they see that we're not giving up our religion. The same energy, the same power, the same commitment and resolve that kept us alive for 2,000 years is now being leveraged against them. And the same reason the Persians and the Greeks and the Romans could not assimilate us and make us into them, the Zionists now see they can't make us into them either. So now they are attempting a more direct assault by trying to take our students out of the yeshiva, where they learn the Jewish values and the Jewish ideals, and put them into the Israeli army. Israeli army is not just an organization of self-defense. It's not just a military. It's a melting pot. It's a agent of social change. The values that are taught in the Israeli army are diametrically opposed to the values of Judaism. It's an indoctrination camp. It's not just the military. They teach them about Jewish heroes. Their Jewish heroes were our Jewish villains. Bar Kokhba, one of the person who led a rebellion against the Romans, we call him Bar Koziva, the big fraud. To them, he's a national hero. Never mind, Bar Kokhba lost. It was a bloody disaster. Besides the Holocaust, it was the largest bloodbath. We will not allow our children to go like sheep to the slaughter from the yeshiva to their indoctrination camp. We're not going to let them brainwash us and change the education of our children. Even if they make the army religious and they even require the Jews to put on tefillin in the morning and to wear yarmulkes, for example, it wouldn't make any difference whatsoever. The values that they teach in the army, the values that, the idea that Israel is the protection for the Jewish people, the idea that the Jewish people needed a state, a land, language, and culture in order to survive, in order to flourish. The idea, the very basis of Zionism that they teach, the very basis of the purpose of the army, is diametrically opposed to Judaism. If not for the indoctrination attempt, they would give us a divinity exemption like they've been doing until now. And it's not the generals that are coming to say, okay, we have to draft more soldiers. It's the politicians. They don't need us and they don't want us from a military perspective. They only want us from a culture war perspective. The Jewish nation was intact, and yes, we were battered, and yes, we were bruised during the 2,000 years that we existed in exile. But on one hand, everybody is wondering, how in the world did the Jews survive? There's no other nation that could survive in exile 2,000 years. Remember, we didn't have an army. We didn't have a state. And we survived, and our Talmud tells us the secret. It's because of our Torah, because of our religion, and it tells us that one of the reasons we survive is because we don't have a state. Imagine a guy steals your identity, ties you up, beats you up, puts you in the closet, and calls himself whatever your name is. And he uses your credit card, he racks up bills, And then he comes to you out of the closet and says, at least you got to help me pay. We have bills. You can't do that. Leave us alone. Leave us to what we've been doing for 2,000 years before they came to try to assimilate us into them, before they tried to change us. Just leave us alone. And if they don't want to leave us alone, we'll make sure that they leave us alone. We're not going to allow them to destroy our community and our culture and our religion. The Israeli government has an army. They want to draft us into their army. The Jewish people have an army also. It's the army of our scholars, the army of our rabbis, that have kept us alive throughout the years. We had our army mobilized in Manhattan this past Sunday. Those rabbis that spoke, those are our generals. We wanted our brothers in Israel, the boys, to see why the Jewish people were able to survive for 2,000 years. Number two is to show the Israeli government that all segments of Jewry are behind our Torah scholars, and we're all against the draft.
Locket auf Achaini B'nai Yisruel in Arzaini Akdoishe, de Geseires Schmad, fin Gies B'nai Yeshivas, who's der einzigste Ziel is, lehashkicham Toiru Seichu, ila Aviro Malchikaire Zoinechu. Wegen dem rief mir ins Os, Handrisch, heute Stammes, Tuf, Schien, ein Himmel. Shma Yisruel, Atem, Kirayvi, Mayoim, Lamel, Chumu, Aloi, Weichem. In Sommer Hand, Ungoib, Mamel, Chume, Kiweide, Leman, Kvoid, Hashem, Betoirusoi, Ibishaim, Hashem,
the message was, this common cause is so important. We are the rabbis themselves, hands-on. We're going to get together and we're going to join our voices in a chorus and tell the Israeli government, we have an army too.
Wir anfangen mit Gius Bonnes, also eben sie gesagt, dass sie Kuloi nur des Sinnes Atoi auf Oikel sein, der Teure und Oikel sein das.
We hope the Israeli government will get the message that they're up against the same force that has kept the Jewish people alive for 2,000 years. We're here to tell them that they can declare war from today till tomorrow. We're not waving the white flag.